Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. We are just waiting for XRP to finally break out. We're just ranging. Nothing has changed here, and it's actually kind of funny because when you take into account what happened yesterday, what a roller coaster of emotions, right? So we're all thrilled in the morning about, based on the news that the SEC is dropping the lawsuit against Coinbase. We know what comes next because the war on crypto is effectively over. Trump literally said the war on crypto is over, so as far as wrapping up the rest of this, he must view this as nothing more than a formality. So that's great. All that good stuff's coming. So we're on a high then, but just what, like a couple hours or so later, we have a major hack on exchange Bybit, which ended up being, from what I've seen, the largest heist, crypto heist anyway, in history. I think the number was something like $1.4 billion in ETH stolen. You can fact check me on that, but it was an outrageous number, whatever it was. It was absolutely gigantic. And I made a video shortly after that, and I was like, look, I don't know for sure what happens in the short term, but it's not going to matter. I don't know if we go a little bit lower. The market's not going to care. I've been through too many of these things. And even if you have a situation where you get bad news and you have what is clearly a capitulation event, which we definitely had at the beginning part of February, based on that the trade war news, that whole narrative, that was just an opportunity. It's the same as the bottom of the market when FTX collapsed. It's the same concept. But here we are, and look, the market seems to not care. We're not in that far off of a spot compared to where we were before any of the news broke yesterday morning. It doesn't matter, okay? We just got to range a little bit further. We're going to have a breakout. This thing's going to keep going to the upside ultimately, even if we do have a deviation to the downside first, which is technically possible. But I will tell you that there are a lot of analysts that think that, if you're asking which way is XRP more likely to break, up. Honestly, so I've shared in recent days a number of analysts I follow that say, okay, there's a possibility XRP could break to the downside. I don't know if it's like 5, 6, or 7 of them that I've highlighted in recent days. But I haven't seen one single one of them say it's more probable to break to the downside. Not one of them. The probabilities to the upside. So we're just watching for a breakout here. It's going to happen. Everybody else can be emotional and flip out in the meantime, but I'm just going to have a good old time. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this latest Moon Lambo Hot Jam, it is 12:18 p.m. Central Time, Saturday, February 22nd, 2025. XRP's chilling at $2.60. How low did it get yesterday? $2.52. Oh my God, the sky is falling. XRP fell to $2.52. Cry me a river. My God. The vast majority of the time I've held XRP, it has been well under $1. It's been more like in the, 20 to 50 cent range probably for the last, I've been holding it over 7 years, probably in that range for most of the time, I'd guess. So it fell to $2.52. Boo-hoo. Okay, I'm not exactly worried about this. We were right. We win. The number's ultimately going to go up as soon as the entire market lights on fire, which you should expect based on historic precedent. We should have a final euphoric blow-off top led by Bitcoin. TechDev sure as hell thinks so. He shared this chart with his how many views? How many followers? 506,000 followers now. This is a Bitcoin USD chart. He simply wrote, "Get ready." And you can see the green part. That's the fun part. That's where Bitcoin will peak for the cycle. We haven't quite had that yet. It's next, though. And he's been sharing all sorts of charts indicating just that. I think history is going to rhyme with itself. We're not seeing historical top indicators yet. We're seeing normal negative sentiment before you have the euphoric blow-off top. All this is normal. I just don't see a reason to actually have genuine fear here. And when we do get to the part where it makes sense to believe, hey, we could be getting close to the top here, I'll be talking about that. I mean, a lot of people won't want to hear that either then, but yeah, I'm absolutely going to be talking about that. We need to be aware. You don't want your head in the sand. Here's a post from chart analyst Mustache. He clearly agrees with TechDev. He shared this schematic right here showing the what a falling wedge pattern looks like, indicating that that's what he thinks this is, and this is a Bitcoin USD chart here. And he wrote, hashtag Bitcoin looks like the perfect retest for Bitcoin. Send it higher. And so he's just noting here that Bitcoin broke out of this falling wedge, came back down to test that upper trend line. And he says, next, up. And I've seen tons of analysts say, okay, guys, this is more or less, doesn't mean it literally has to be today or tomorrow, but this is the make or break moment. Either it's going to continue to the upside, or like things are just absolutely going to fall off the rails here, because it is decision time. You can't just range sideways forever. And ask a different chart analyst and you'll get a reason why. There are any number of things you can look at to indicate, yeah, something's going to give. Here's another post from Mustache. And this is the crypto total market cap on your screen. So every single coin in existence in one little nice line. He says 90% out there are bearish, and the total market cap looks like this. Never forget that the longer the sideways phase, the stronger the support. This will go higher. Don't look at the lower time frame so much. Macro time frame is what matters. So when he says don't look at the lower time frame, that just means don't look at the short term. When he says look at the macro time frame, he means look at big picture, what's happening here. And he's noting that where we are right now for the entire crypto asset class, safely above the all-time high of 2021, just ranging sideways. And he's noting that this has happened previously. Last cycle, safely above, after breaking above the 2017 all-time high. Look at that, stayed, so it did range sideways for some time. It was ultimately staying above that 2017 all-time high, and then you had the final push to the upside. So this time is not different. And this is important to be aware of, because XRP is going to move with the rest of the crypto asset class. It was never going to hit a new all-time high on its own. XRP was never going to do that. I insisted upon that for years now, and what do you know? The whole market was going. And, when the market got hot after the election, pretty much everything was going. Not that everything hit a new all-time high. Of course, I'm not saying that. But that was the right condition, or I should say those were the right conditions, plural, for XRP to finally make that move and hit that all-time high. And it happened. And it's not done. ETH's not done either. Take a look at this from chart analyst Mikey Bull Crypto. It says, ETH biggest bull run is coming, but patience is needed. He believes it's going to be breaking to the upside. And I'd be shocked if it didn't. And that's great for us XRP holders, because when that gets going, altcoins follow, and then XRP can come in for the kill and swoop in for that number 2 spot, where it belongs. Here's a post from Crypto Michael. He says, they made you panic sell your Ethereum. Now they will pump it. Thanks for playing. And that is kind of how this goes. I mean, it's the sentiment. Something scary happens. People panic sell, and now it's a day later and everything's fine. Everything's fine. Even if we do deviate to the downside, like I was saying a few minutes ago, so what? It doesn't matter. The structure's not broken. Nobody knows for sure what's going to happen, including me, but that's not the point. The point is that history tends to rhyme with itself, so it does not make sense to be a little baby back brioche in this particular moment. This is a time to be excited about being an XRP holder and just holding crypto in general. Here's a post from a few days ago from Crypto Michael. He says, XRP needs to break the purple resistance line to activate the next leg up. And then yesterday he reposted that and he wrote, XRP still ranging. Main support line is $2.35. Resistance line is $2.80. The next major move will be decided by whichever line breaks first. And so the fact that he didn't assert which way he thought it was going to go was curious to me, but I started looking through additional replies, and I found that somebody asked what he expected was more likely, and he did say that he thinks the bullish scenario probably. So not an insanely high level of conviction, but basically if you had to, if you're forcing him to ask, or forcing him to state which way is more probable, he says up from here. And I haven't seen a single analyst that I follow say it's more probable that the next notable move will be to the downside. Doesn't mean it can't happen. Sometimes the improbable happens, but I think that there really is something to just the group wisdom. If you haven't a group of analysts, as I think the ones that I follow are just good analysts, really good track records on the whole, then the group wisdom of those good analysts, more like not always, but the strong majority of the time, what they think is going to happen if they are in unison on something, that tends to happen. And that's why I spend so much time daily checking this, because it's fun and I'm curious just like you. And then I plop it down in this hot jam on the Moon Lambo channel, which of course is the best channel in all of the YouTubes. You are welcome. But there's no reason to be scared here. And he's not the only one that thinks this, by the way. Take a look at this post from chart analyst E. Greg Crypto, XRP USD chart on the screen. And he said, XRP 12-hour time frame update. Nothing has changed still. Still filling in the ascending triangle. So he's referencing right meow for those of you looking at the screen. And he says, historical data suggests that ascending triangles breaking out is as follows. Number one, to the upside, approximately 70 to 75% of the time. And two, to the downside occurs about 25 to 30% of the time. So technically and statistically, we should visit $3.20 to $3.40. So yeah, so again, nothing's certain, but if you're talking about probabilities, which is what these chart analysts are talking about, it seems like eGreg Crypto would also think more likely than not, though not certain, you would expect a break to the upside. And that is consistently what I'm seeing for any analyst that is tracking XRP and talks about that particular thing. Here's a post from chart analyst Dom. XRP update. Price is bouncing around major important VWAPs in this range. All-time high VWAP is final boss for this range, $2.80. Does that sound familiar? Wasn't that what Crypto Michael was talking about? $2.80. And then we also have a monthly RVWAP and quarterly RVWAP around the $2.70 level. Immediate support remains the orange VWAP bands that have held price many times. Compression happening. Bitcoin needs to break the $100,000 for XRP to show a strong attempt of breaking this range high. Just patience. So that is the name of the game. We just have to wait. I don't know about you, but I'm not feeling the least bit impatient. Now, honestly, I never do. I happen to be really good about not getting impatient. When I first jumped into crypto, I was like, oh yeah, maybe just hold it for a decade. That's fine. Whatever ends up. And even then, like if it were to be longer than that, I'd just be like, well, okay, I can't really control that. You know, it's just I'm living my life. Everything's fine. And so in the short term, yeah, obviously I'm also not having trouble then. But you shouldn't be either here. And I'm assuming if you're an XRP holder, you're probably feeling pretty good right about meow, right? Because most people in crypto now are feeling miserable. Not our community. We live in an upside down world where XRP community members are floating on a cloud and everybody else is emotionally in the gutter. Isn't it just a true delight? It's very nice to see what a change of pace here, you know? But so yeah, we just got to wait a little bit longer, but I still firmly believe, yes, more likely than not, you're going to see Bitcoin break to the upside. There's going to be an alt season. Bitcoin dominance comes down. XRP hits yet another all-time high. Interest price discovery, melts faces, the whole 9 yards. Then we get to some sort of peak, and then finally bear market, and then we get to do it all over again, and we have yet another opportunity to accumulate, which will lead to even more life-changing wealth. Isn't it grand being in crypto? I say yes. Take a look at this. This is a post from yesterday morning as the S was hitting the fan, right? Look at this. And you'll love to see this. Whales bought over 20 million XRP in the last 24 hours. Them splishy, splashy whales getting aquatic AF. You know they're not going to get wrong-footed because whales don't have feet, you idiot stick. Here's a post from chart analyst Steph is Crypto. XRP is oversold just like in 2017. The weak hands are out. Up only season is so close now. Okay, and that's the sentiment I keep seeing. We're going to get there. Just wait a little bit longer. But you don't have to wait as long in bull markets for something to happen as you do in the depths of the bear markets. This is the exciting time. So yeah, we've been ranging a little bit, but whatever. Ain't no thing. We waited for years to see XRP finally pop. This is not bad. This is not bad. You trained for this, right? Here's a post from chart analyst Crypto Tony. Pretty much the same as every one of his last, 7, 8, 9, 10 posts. XRP USD update, sideways then up, I am looking for. So he hasn't yet stated whether he thinks that up or down is more probable, but he doesn't think this is weird, and he does believe ultimately that we're going to be moving to the upside. So maybe he does preference that. He hasn't been completely explicit about it, but either way, I'm just telling you that the analysts I found, they're not worried about this. And again, I don't think you guys are either. I'm just saying that's, still reassuring. I think the best is yet ahead. I'm very excited to see it. But in the meantime, hey, we can just float around here, and that's just fine. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.